Oh shit! I think I forgot it. The Sams were talking to me about the ratio of influence. Oh right. Okay, I was mulling it over in my head what they had said, and I know it was them that said this because I said it offhandedly, but it wasn't an offhanded comment. It was a very profoundly accurate and interesting comment that I need to say before I forget. So when I was talking in one of the uploads, they said that it's like watching an ant tell a pebble that it rules it. And I knew it was them. I felt it, like intuitively. I could feel that it wasn't me. It was coming from some other source other than myself. And schizophrenics, as labeled, will say that this idea didn't come from me. It came from someone else. And most people have at least said that they have no idea what that is. I still don't know if the average person has ever felt like that or not, but they all say they don't. But I have. And I was thinking about that statement, that it's like seeing an ant tell a pebble that it rules it. A pebble, I saw this little ad in the elevator at work, and I see it often, is what a penguin gives to another penguin that it's proposing marriage to. And penguins are monogamous, so they don't mate just because. They pick one person and they stick with them for life. And they do it by finding a pebble. The male will go out and find a pebble and give it to the female, whichever one he chooses. And then she chooses to either accept or reject the pebble. If she accepts it, then she's accepting him as her exclusive mate for the rest of her life. And he accepts her as his exclusive mate for the rest of his life. And if she rejects it, then she can go out and, wait for another suitor or whatever. And he has to go and find another person. So that's the same relationship that the people that I'm referring to, which is honestly everyone else on this planet. And if you take that view, like let's pretend that you're kind of like a camera and we're in this three-dimensional snapshot of space where you've got this little ant telling this little pebble, I rule you. Okay? And then you can look at it from three different vantage points, let's say. I mean, just to make things simple, because there's an infinite number, but let's say there's three. There's from the pebble's perspective, there's from the ant's perspective, and then there's from some third vantage point beyond the two of them, from the Sams, who said it, in my opinion, viewpoint. So if you look at it from their viewpoint, then you've got an ant telling a pebble what to do, because they're the third vantage point outside both the ant and the pebble. And if you take the pebble's point of view, if you take the human's point of view, then you see this ant telling you, the human, what to do. That you're ruled by this ant. And you can either find this laughably absurd, or you could find it humiliating and just absolutely ridiculous. That how is this ant telling me that it rules me? And it's absurd. It looks absolutely absurd. And then if you look at it from the human, and the other part, the Sams, right? Because they might see them, in which case it would look like God. So they're looking at the ant and God, and they're saying, okay, well, this ant is obviously way less than the Sams who said this, or God. So that's part of the reason that it makes it so ridiculous. And then...
Hello, Moto.
It's the same number that keeps calling me over and over every day, asking for Carol, who still isn't here. because I'm not fucking Carol. So anyway, yeah, if you look at it from the ant's perspective, which is my perspective, then I've got the Sams on one side, and I'm relating them to this pebble, which is like, again, absurd, because it's like, well, obviously I rule it because it's so far beneath the Sams. So it's so weird that they made that comment, because you could look at it and it actually is accurate. It shows you, what the relationship is in my head about how I would look at what is going on here. It isn't to say that that's the real case. It's just to say that that's the way that I see it. And because that's the way that I see it, and the Sams are good at their job, then there isn't any there isn't any change in between their viewpoint and my viewpoint, because they're interchangeable, they're indiscernible, and therefore it's smooth, and then there's no feeling of there being an external source inserting itself into my head. So the only time that people feel like there's something else talking to them that isn't them is if there's a deviation from what they would normally think, what they feel like is their normal momentum. If you're walking down the street, you're walking at about 5 miles an hour, and you've got a certain momentum. And if somebody gets in your way, or something happens in your path, if it's got less mass than you do, then it's going to get pushed out of the way at the rate of about 5 miles an hour, depending on which direction that it's moving. So you're aware then of your own movement. You're aware of your own thought processes. You're aware of your own path that you're walking down, in life. And when there's a deviation and there's this jarring, shoving motion, and you find yourself suddenly stumbling down the road that you were walking on earlier, and now you're stumbling, and you think, okay, well, I must have tripped over something else. It wasn't like I walked here. I had tripped. I felt something else independent of myself get in my way and change my trajectory from what it was to what it is now. That is what I call the ratio. And the ratio is the ratio of influence between the Sams and us. Specifically, that's where I got it from. But it's a general rule. There's always a ratio. And the reason that there's always a ratio is because you can't have an absolute value from one person to the other. There's no way that I can crawl inside your soul and re-engineer it in order to make it what I want. Only you have access to that, and God. So because of that limit, I can't I forgot where I was going with that. The necessary difference between what someone... Oh, yeah, absolutes. So there are no absolutes in relativity, because this is a relativistic place. There are no absolutes. So every relationship is a ratio of influence. And it's a ratio between two subjects, meaning that every two subjects, every pair, has its own specific relation. And there are not three or more that share the same exact relationship. If you say that there's three or more things that all share exactly the same relationship, then two or more of those things are actually dependent parts of one independent whole. And I know that sounds complex, but it's pretty simple. It means that if I were to take three things, let's say me, you, and this phone, the phone seems like it's independent from me and you because it's recording what I'm saying to you. And it's allowing that recording then in the future to be played back to you on your device, whatever it is that you're using. Not my phone, obviously, but yours or your device. So if we say that those are three different things and they're all having the same relationship with each other, then I can call bullshit on that because I own my phone. You don't. So this recording device that I'm using belongs to me, and it's dependent upon me and me alone, but not on you. That's why I'm able to record this at my own pace, my own tempo, choose my own topics. I'm the one that independently just decided, independently of you, to make this. And then you find it. And that's a totally different relationship with this phone that we have. So there aren't three things. There's me and you, and we're relating to each other through the phone, but the phone is just an extension of me. It belongs solely to me. So if we took another three things, let's say the three things are the mind, the body, and the soul. Oh, those all have the same relation because they're all part of a self, right? So myself, I have a body, I have a mind, and I have a soul. And so my mind and my body and my soul at least appear to have the same relationship to me, but that's not true because I favor my soul over my mind and I favor my mind over my body. I don't have an equal value of my body and my soul, and I don't know anyone who does, not even a materialist. Now, the materialist will argue, well, my body is my soul, so therefore they're the same thing. But they're just skipping over stuff because what they're saying is that there's no physical substance to non-physical things. They're not saying that they don't exist. They're just admitting that they're not physical. And then they're asserting that the only thing that exists is physics. So it's, an assertion, just like I have an assertion too, and I look at them sideways the same way they look at me sideways, and we both think that the other one is completely absurd and full of shit, but we can at least follow each other's logic, and we can understand and predict where the other one will go with something and understand why the other person took that position, or at the very least accept that to the point where they can predict it accurately. And that's really the only way that you can debate someone fairly is if they can represent your ideas equally or greater than you can. If they can only render them less than you can, then they can't really debate you because they obviously can't understand you. And if they can't understand you, then they're debating something that doesn't exist. So it's rare, but there are people that can find fairly equal, although I would say it's probably going to be asymmetrically equal, but fairly equal ratio of influence between each other. So that's only possible, like I said, if they're equally capable of predicting where the other one's going to go. Because if I know where you're going to go, but you don't know where I'm going, then I'm in control of you, and you're just depending upon me. So that's kind of what this theory was originally designed to do, and that's why I have still a lot of fears about it, is because it was originally designed as a weapon. But anyway, I forgot what I started this on, actually.